The old house stood alone on the hill. It was a looming shadow against the dying light. People in town whispered about it. They called it the Whispering House. The name sent shivers down their spines. The legend said no one dared to enter after dark. Those who did were never seen again. Some said the house swallowed them whole. Others claimed their souls were trapped inside. The stories were just whispers, but everyone believed them. The house was a monument to fear. Its windows were dark, like empty eyes. The paint peeled like scabs on old wounds. The yard was overgrown, a haven for unseen creatures. No one dared to go near. No one except Alex. Alex was different. He didn't believe in whispers and legends. He craved the truth. And the truth, he believed, lay hidden within the walls of the Whispering House. One night, a group of teenagers dared him to enter. They stood at the edge of the property, their faces pale in the moonlight. They challenged him to spend 15 minutes inside the house, alone, in the dark. Alex laughed. He wasn't afraid. He grabbed his flashlight. The beam of light flickered, casting dancing shadows around him. It was just a house, he told himself. An old, creepy house, but just a house nonetheless. He pushed open the front gate. It creaked like a scream. He walked toward the house. His heart beat faster with every step. He told himself it was the excitement, but a cold dread crept up his spine. The air inside was heavy and still. It smelled of decay and dust. Alex shone his flashlight around. Cobwebs hung from every corner, thick and gray like burial shrouds. Dust lay heavy on the furniture, undisturbed for years. He stepped into the living room. The furniture was draped in white sheets, like ghosts. The silence was unnerving. It pressed in on him, suffocating him. He felt a presence. Something unseen watched him from the shadows. He walked on, his footsteps echoing in the silence. He told himself it was just the wind, but the house had no windows that opened. He was alone. Or was he? Section 4. The Mirror's Gaze. At the end of the hallway, a large, ornate mirror hung on the wall. Its gilded frame was tarnished with age. The glass was cloudy, obscuring the reflection. Alex approached it, drawn by an unknown force. He raised his hand, his fingers trembling slightly. He touched the cold glass. A shiver ran down his spine. He stared into the mirror, trying to see his reflection, but the dust was too thick. He could only make out a faint outline. He wiped the dust away with his sleeve. As he did, a cold breath brushed against his neck. He spun around, but there was nothing there. He was alone. He had to be. He turned back to the mirror, and that's when he saw it. His reflection wasn't right. Section 5. Whispers in the Dark. The reflection in the mirror was changing. The face staring back at him wasn't his own. It was older, twisted into a grotesque grin. The eyes glowed with an eerie light. Alex stumbled back, his heart pounding. He blinked, and the image was gone. His own reflection stared back at him, his face pale and frightened. He told himself it was a trick of the light, but deep down he knew it was something more. A whisper brushed past his ear. He couldn't make out the words, but the voice was cold, menacing. He spun around, shining his flashlight into the darkness. The whispers followed him, growing louder, more insistent. They seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Section 6. Reflections of Fear. He backed away from the mirror, his fear growing with each passing moment. His flashlight flickered, casting long, distorted shadows on the wall. He shook it, trying to get it to work, but the light continued to fade. He glanced back at the mirror. The reflection had changed again. This time it wasn't a face staring back at him, but a message. Scrawled across the dusty surface in what looked like blood were 3 words. "You're trapped now." Panic surged through him. He had to get out. Now! He ran back down the hallway, his footsteps echoing in the darkness. The whispers pursued him, urging him on. He could feel their icy breath on his neck, their laughter echoing in his ears. Section 7. The legend continues. The next morning, the townspeople found Alex's flashlight. It lay on the front porch of the Whispering House, its beam extinguished. The gate was open, but Alex was gone. The police searched for days, but they found no trace of him. He vanished without a trace, just like all the others. The legend of the Whispering House lived on. Some whispered that Alex had run away. Others believed the legend was true. They said the house had claimed another victim. They said the whispers had lured him in, just like they lured all the others. And they said if you listened closely, on a quiet night, you could still hear his screams, trapped forever within the walls of the whispering house.